Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma sholli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Apa kabar anak sekalian? Semoga senantiasa sehat dan selalu dalam lindungan Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Baik anak sekalian, pada pagi hari ini kita akan melanjutkan materi kita tentang organisasi kehidupan, termasuk pembahasan tentang sel atau organisasi kehidupan tingkat sel ya. Baik, tujuan pembelajarannya pada hari ini adalah menjelaskan sel sebagai unit atau satuan struktural dan fungsional terkecil makhluk hidup, kemudian menjelaskan bagian-bagian sel dan membedakan sel hewan dan sel tumbuhan. Baik anak sekalian ya, sel ya ini pertama kali diamati oleh seorang ilmuwan yang namanya Robert Hooke pada tahun 1665 ya. Dia mengamati sayatan gabus ya dari batang oak ya atau Quarkus suber ini ya namanya. Ini gambarnya seperti ini kan. Kemudian dia menemukan ruang-ruang kosong ya, ruang kosong yang dibatasi dinding yang tebal. Nah, tidak lain yang diamati itu adalah sel-sel gabus yang telah mati. Ini ya sel yang ada pada tumbuhan ya. Ini tumbuhannya ya. Kemudian ini hasil pengamatnya seperti ini kira-kira. Nah, anak sekalian, setelah diselidiki lebih lanjut, ini kemudian ya ternyata di dalam sel ini terjadi segala kegiatan ya. Jadi, baik sel itu bisa melakukan regulasi atau pengaturan ya terhadap dirinya sendiri, kemudian bisa memproses energi, bisa tumbuh, bisa berkembang, bisa bisa menanggapi rangsang terhadap lingkungan ya, serta dapat melakukan reproduksi. Ini seperti makhluk hidup ya. Maka seperti yang di awal tadi ya, di tujuan tadi, struktural ya, unit struktural dan fungsional terkecil. Artinya sel ini memiliki atau merupakan tingkat struktural ya, yang terendah yang masih mampu menjalankan fungsi kehidupan ya. Tadi fungsi kehidupan dari misalnya tadi ada bisa memproses energi, kemudian tumbuh berkembang dan sebagainya tadi. Nah, anak sekalian coba untuk memahami ya atau untuk membuka wawasan kita, coba kita lihat video pada slide ini ya.
Cells are the smallest living units of an organism. All cells have three things in common, no matter what type of cell they are. All cells have a cell membrane, which separates the inside of the cell from its environment, cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like fluid, and DNA, which is the cell's genetic material. There are two broad categories of cells. The first category is eukaryotic cells. They have organelles, which include the nucleus and other special parts. Eukaryotic cells are more advanced complex cells, such as those found in plants and animals. The second category is prokaryotic cells. They don't have a nucleus or membrane-enclosed organelles. They do have genetic material, but it's not contained within a nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are always one cell or unicellular organisms, such as bacteria. So, what are organelles? Organelle means little organ. Organelles are the specialized parts of a cell that have unique jobs to perform. Let's start with the nucleus, the control center of the cell. The nucleus contains DNA, or genetic material. DNA dictates what the cell is going to do and how it's going to do it. Chromatin is the tangled, spread-out form of DNA found inside the nuclear membrane. When a cell is ready to divide, DNA condenses into structures known as chromosomes. The nucleus also contains a nucleolus, which is a structure where ribosomes are made. After ribosomes leave the nucleus, they will have the important job of synthesizing or making proteins. Outside the nucleus, the ribosomes and the rest of the organelles float around in cytoplasm, which is the jelly-like substance. Ribosomes may wander freely within the cytoplasm or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, sometimes abbreviated as ER. There are two types of ER. Rough ER has ribosomes attached to it, and smooth ER doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. The endoplasmic reticulum is a membrane-enclosed passageway for transporting materials, such as proteins synthesized by ribosomes. Proteins and other materials emerge from the endoplasmic reticulum in small vesicles, where the Golgi apparatus, sometimes called the Golgi body, receives them. As proteins move through the Golgi body, they're customized into forms that the cell can use. The Golgi body does this by folding the proteins into usable shapes, or adding other materials onto them, such as lipids or carbohydrates. Vacuoles are sac-like structures that store different materials. Here, in this plant cell, the central vacuole stores water. Going back to the animal cell, you will see an organelle called a lysosome. Lysosomes are the garbage collectors that take in damaged or worn out cell parts. They are filled with enzymes that break down this cellular debris. The mitochondrion is an organelle that is the powerhouse for both animal and plant cells. During a process called cellular respiration, the mitochondria make ATP molecules that provide the energy for all of the cell's activities. Cells that need more energy have more mitochondria. Meanwhile, the cell maintains its shape through a cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton includes the thread-like microfilaments, which are made of protein, and microtubules, which are thin, hollow tubes. Some organisms, such as plants that are photoautotrophic, meaning they capture sunlight for energy, have cells with an organelle called a chloroplast. The chloroplast is where photosynthesis happens. It's green because it has a green pigment called chlorophyll. Plant cells also have a cell wall outside of their cell membranes that shape, support, and protect the plant cell. Animal cells never have a cell wall. There are many other unique structures that only some cells have. Here are just a few. In humans, for example, the respiratory tract is lined with cells that have cilia. These are microscopic hair-like projections that can move in waves. This feature helps trap inhaled particles in the air and expels them when you cough. Another unique feature in some cells is flagella. Some bacteria have flagella. A flagellum is like a little tail that can help a cell move or propel itself. The only human cell that has a flagellum is a sperm cell. In summary, remember, eukaryotic cells are plant and animal cells with a nucleus and membrane-enclosed organelles, while prokaryotic cells are unicellular organisms without these things. All cells have a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. And even though only plant cells have chloroplasts, both plant and animal cells have mitochondria.
Baik, anak sekalian, tadi sudah kita lihat ya video tentang bagaimana struktur sel ya. Jadi secara garis besar nanti ya kita akan bahas ya, yaitu ada dua macam tipe sel ya, yaitu tipe sel yang namanya prokaryotik dan eukaryotik. Ini dulu sebenarnya sudah kita singgung waktu di pembahasan tentang klasifikasi makhluk hidup ya. Itu ada sel prokaryotik dan sel eukaryotik. Jadi setiap makhluk hidup ini ya, ini memiliki ini ya, selnya dia apakah prokaryotik atau eukaryotik. Nah, untuk prokaryotik ini adalah makhluk hidup yang seperti bakteri, sel bersel satu ya, seperti bakteri dan gagang biru. Nah, tadi sudah dijelaskan ya bahwa untuk prokaryotik ini adalah inti selnya itu tidak memiliki membran inti. Kemudian untuk yang eukaryotik ini memiliki membran inti di sini ya. Contohnya pada hewan, tumbuhan, jamur, protista ini semuanya termasuk eukaryotik. Nah, sekalian di sini nanti sudah saya tuliskan ya, nanti silakan kalian pelajari dahulu ya. Kan ini agak banyak ya. Insya Allah nanti akan saya bahas pada pertemuan berikutnya. Kalian pelajari dulu aja. Baik, saya kira itu ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.